Hi friends, welcome to My English. I'm Hira and today we will be looking at the writing module. Writing module is the last module in the 2 hours and 30 minutes test and it is of 1 complete hour. It includes 2 questions, task 1 and task 2. So I will be giving you a brief overview of the entire writing task 2 today. But let's take a look at both the tasks in totality. So as you can see, there are 2 tasks, writing task 1 and writing task 2. For general students, the writing task 1 is letter writing. And for academic students, the writing task is report writing. For writing task 2, it is essay writing. The minimum word limit for writing task 1 is 150 words. So as you see, it is the minimum word limit. There is no upper limit. Similarly, for writing task 2, it is 250 words. So if you break down the 60 minutes time to both the tasks, it is 20 minutes, that's the ideal time that you have to spend on writing task 1 and 40 minutes on writing task 2. So accordingly, writing task 1 carries less weightage and writing task 2 carries more weightage. 2/3 weightage is assigned to writing task 2, essay writing, and 1/3 weightage is assigned to writing task 1, which is letter or report writing. Writing task 2 is something that's common for both academic and general candidates. Let's take a look at what we will be doing in today's session. So today we will be discussing what is the duration and the minimum word limit of writing task 2. We will elaborate on the band descriptors and we'll look at the different question types. Please take a note that these will be an overview of the question types. The individual question types will be covered in the subsequent videos. And we'll also take a look at the overall writing task 2 structure. I will be covering the individual question types and their structures with a solved exercise in a different video. So let's get started with today's lesson. The time allotted for writing task 2 is 40 minutes. The minimum word limit is 250 words. Now, as far as the duration is concerned, you should break it down into 3 stages. Number 1 is planning the essay. So, planning is crucial. It's never a waste of time. Consider your writing speed and you should spend at least 5 minutes in planning the essay. You could take up to 8 minutes if you're faster. Planning actually helps you to write the essay in a well-organized way. Then comes the actual writing, which should be around 25 to 30 minutes. So 25 to 30 minutes is what you should be spending on writing. For slow writers, remember not to use more than 30 minutes. Finally, very important is editing. Editing or proofreading requires at least 5 to 7 minutes of your time. This can significantly reduce lexical and grammatical inaccuracies. This will also, reflect on your band score. So fast writers may get the advantage of taking up to 7 minutes for editing, while the slow one should spend minimum of 5 minutes on it. Right? So please break down your 40 minutes in planning, writing and editing and give planning and editing at least 5 minutes each and write your essay in 25 to 30 minutes. Now about the word limit, we have said that it is 250 words minimum. There is no upper limit for the same. But considering the time that you have, it is okay to, hover between 275 to 85 words. Now let's take a look at the band descriptors, which are the evaluation criteria. And as you can see, all the criteria carry 25% weightage. The first criteria is task response. Now, task response is whether or not you have completed the requirements of the task, right? So did you fully respond to all parts of the task? That means, each essay question can be filtered to get the essential part of the question, and that should be the topic of the essay. Writing on the topic is the only way to respond fully to the task. So high scoring responses do meet both the minimum word requirement and the requirement presented in the prompt. So that is, did you fully respond to all parts of the task? Next is, have you maintained your position throughout the essay or not, right? So if you have said something in the beginning, if your opinion is clearly one-sided in the introduction part of the essay, but towards the end, if you say that your stand is partial or agree-disagree kind of a stand, then there is a discrepancy in your stand, and that will lead to an adverse impact on your score as well. So it is essential that you maintain your position till the end of the essay. Yes, the word limit is 250 words, so make sure you cross 250 words and reach somewhere between 270 to 80 words. And if you want to improve your task response, the tip is you should plan your essay. Give your essay at least 5 minutes so that you are able to analyze the question prompt, and then only you will be able to give a planned response to ensure that you are giving a proper maintained position. Coming to coherence and cohesion, many students have a confusion as to what coherence and cohesion means in writing. Well, it simply means that your sentences and ideas should flow logically. That way, you will be coherent and cohesive. When you're writing the essay or when you've written the essay, ask yourself, does the sequence of ideas make sense? Are your paragraphs effectively organized or not? The thing is, there is no fixed number of paragraphs, but as a standard, you should have at least 4 paragraphs and a maximum of 5 paragraphs. First is the introduction paragraph, 2 body paragraphs, and 1 conclusion paragraph. You may have 3 detailed body paragraphs also. So that's maximum of 5. Plus, in each paragraph, you need to have one controlling idea, one main idea that you're discussing throughout the paragraph. If there is any information that does not fit the main idea of the paragraph, take it off. Then also your body paragraphs, this is para 2 and para 3, are these directly related to your thesis statement? Is there a logical connection between the words in the sentences in the paragraph, and paragraphs in the whole essay? So everything is well connected and well structured. That is coherence. Then we have cohesion. Cohesion is the variety of cohesive features and discourse markers to make it easier for the reader to follow your ideas. Usage of cohesive devices. So if you are introducing something, you are using some ordinals like firstly, secondly. If you give an example, then you say to illustrate, for instance, and so on. If you're comparing two things, on the one hand, on the other hand, and so on. We'll be discussing the vocabulary henceforth, but let's understand the meaning of these descriptors so you don't lose out your marks on these things. Then we have the third thing as lexical resources. I know it's a bit of a fancy word, but it is all about vocabulary. It's your ability to use words appropriately. Now, lexical resource, a lot of people confuse it with using fancy words, difficult, complex words, but no. You need to use the words appropriately. They have to be in the right context and accurately. That means spellings, their meanings, their grammar, everything has to be correct. So, are you flexible with the vocabulary? Are you able to use synonyms wherever possible or not? Are you able to use correct collocations or topic-specific vocabulary in any given context? So if you're able to give a yes to all these questions, then yes, this shows that you have a range of vocabulary. Now, lexical resource also means that you should not be repeating your words too much. If you want a high score, you should use a wide range of vocabulary precisely and accurately. Okay, now we come to grammatical range and accuracy. Now, it has 2 parts to it. One is the accuracy part, which is, are you writing the subject-verb agreement, the tenses, and the grammar structures accurately or not? Are you using punctuation correctly or not? Then comes the range. So range means if you're relying mainly on simple sentence patterns, that is subject, verb, and object, then you are in a 6.5 band category. And also if you're using the be form of the verb always, am, is, are, was, were. Yeah, it's not wrong, but yes, it is considered very simple and it leads to a lot of repetition. So try to use complex structures, compound sentences, coordinate clauses, gerunds, passive voice to give your sentences a wide range. And that way you'll be able to score high in the grammatical range and accuracy. There are different essay types. The first one is called the advantages and disadvantages essay. As the name suggests, you have to talk about the advantages as well as the disadvantages. You can't be talking about just one, but advantage disadvantage is of 3 kinds. One is the simple one. You have to talk only about the advantages and disadvantages. So in one body para you talk about advantages, second body para you talk about disadvantages. But then there is advantage outweighing the disadvantages. So you clearly have to show the outweigh. Then you have the third type, which is called the advantage, disadvantage and opinion. So along with that, you have to also write your opinion. Then we have the opinion based essay, which asks your opinion about something. Typical question words like what is your opinion? To what extent do you agree or disagree? What do you think about it? What do you feel about it? So if you don't have a clear opinion and if you don't use an appropriate structure, you would not be able to do well in this type of questions, right? And it's pretty common. So it's quite important that you practice argumentative or opinion based essays. Then we have discussion based essays. Some people are of the opinion this, some people are of the opinion that. So you have to talk about both the opinions in both the body paragraphs, and in addition, sometimes you'll have to talk about your own opinion as well. This is also quite common. Then we have the two-part essay. So two-part essay or a double question essay is simply the question is divided into two parts. Answer the first question in body para 1, explain the issue and give examples for it, and then answer the second question in the body para 2, provide supporting ideas and how to solve the problem and issue with examples. So if it is asking you for your opinion, you'll have to give your opinion. If not, then no. So the structure basically remains the same. Okay, now last is our problem solution, and sometimes it's also causes and solution. Sometimes it is causes and problems. So it may take many forms. Actually, this is the most common IELTS writing task 2 question, especially in academic paper. You need to see what is the problem associated with it. So at times they get confused with problems and causes. If problems are asked, they'll write up causes. Now moving on to how you can address these question types. This is a small table that will give you typical question words of all these question types. For example, if it is an opinion essay, it will give you the question type as what is your opinion? Do you agree? Do you disagree? To what extent do you agree or disagree? So example question for this can be computers are being used more and more in education, so there will be no role for teacher in education. To what extent do you agree or disagree? How you go about it is you paraphrase the question, then you write the thesis statement, and then you present the outline statement. So paraphrasing is to change the question without changing its meaning. Then you write the opinion. It is agreed or it is disagreed. What is your opinion about it? And to what extent do you agree? That also has to be mentioned because it is asking for the extent of agreement or disagreement. Then you will say what the essay will discuss or what will it talk about. So that's your outline statement. You can even have a general background statement before doing the paraphrasing. That's optional, but yes, it's considered well. Then in the main body, you will talk about the first reason of agreement or disagreement. Then you'll present supporting ideas, you'll develop your ideas and you'll give example. You'll end up with the small summary of the entire point 1. So that's how you prepare the first body paragraph. The second body is going to have the second reason and so on. Coming to the advantage, disadvantage, the questions form can be discuss the advantages and disadvantages of any particular thing. And sometimes it may have discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your own opinion. And sometimes it will say do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages and so on, right? So we're going to stick to the same questions. Computers are being used more and more in education. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages and give your own opinion. So first, what will you do is you'll paraphrase. You'll say what the essay will discuss. But since it is also asking about your opinion, you'll present your thesis statement as well. But if it is not asking for your opinion, there will be no thesis statement. Okay. Then in the body para 1, you'll talk about advantages. In the body para 2, you'll talk about disadvantages, and body para 3, you'll give your opinion. So whenever you're giving one main point, you'll have to give some ideas to support your point and example. So this is a proper pattern, a proper structure that we have to follow in IELTS writing task 2. Coming to the third question type, which is two views and opinion, which is discussion questions. So the typical language of the question will be discuss both views and give your opinion. Now the question can be, computers are being used more and more in education. Some people say this is a positive trend while others argue it is leading to negative consequences. So they've given you 2 points of views. Discuss both sides of this argument and then give your own opinion. So firstly, you paraphrase the question, present the thesis statement, and give the outline statement. So this essay will discuss so and so. In the body para 1, you state the first point of view, discuss why is it so, give reasons, then give examples, and so on. Second body para, second point of view. Third body para, your point of view. You can even club your point of view with one of the body paras if it is carrying the same points. Moving on to the problem solution essay. So what are the problems and what solutions? What are the causes of something and what solutions would you offer? Right? So questions can be, students are becoming more and more reliant on computers. What are some of the problems associated with reliance on computers and what are some of the possible solutions? So same thing, paraphrase the question and the outline statement. So no thesis in this case as well. So you have to give your opinion only if it is asked, otherwise no. In the body para, state the problem, or you can start off with, on the one hand, expand your idea, what will be the result of that problem, explain it, and give example. So this is going to be precisely the structure of the different essays, the structure of writing task 2, though we have already covered it, but we'll still take a look at it. Para 1 looks like this: introduction para 2 is body para 1, para 3 is body para 2, para 4 is body para 3, which is optional, and para 5 is the conclusion paragraph. Let's break down the paragraphs further. Para 1 should have 3 to 4 sentences, wherein sentence 1 is a general background statement about the topic. Like I said, it is optional, not mandatory at all. If you want, you can write it, but if you do write it, it will give you some extra points. Sentence 2, which is important, is you paraphrase the question. So try to find some synonyms while reading, while planning the question, some synonyms that you will be using in conclusion as well as introduction. Next is thesis statement. So it needs to be written only and only in case of opinion-based essays, wherever your opinion is asked. So your opinion could be asked in any question type. So read the question very carefully. Next is you'll have to write the outline statement that this essay will discuss. So this para 1, which is the introduction paragraph, it tells the examiner whether you have clearly understood the question or the task or not, and what are you going to say, what are you going to mention in the subsequent paragraphs. So the examiner must now come to know what he or she is looking for. Coming to the body paragraphs, they should follow the same pattern, which is first you are stating the main point, which is the topic sentence, then your explanation of that topic sentence in 2 or 3 sentences, which is your supporting ideas in both. Then sentence 3 or 4 should have examples. So at least 2 body paragraphs or a maximum of 3 body paragraphs discussing one key point each. So there should be no mixing of ideas in any of the paragraphs. One para should have one controlling idea. So when you're planning your essay, have these things planned out, that this is the point that I'm going to elaborate in para 2 and so on in para 3. While doing so, use relevant linking words to show the transition of ideas. Para 4 is your conclusion paragraph, and that can be done in 1 or 2 sentences, which should have an effective conclusion, a summary of the points discussed in the body paragraphs. So you summarize your opinion whenever you have given your opinion and the main points. But be careful not to copy the same sentence. So put it in a different way. But very important, do not add any new idea or any new topic in the conclusion. So if you do that, your whole hard work will go for a toss. Keep your conclusion short, keep it simple. Use other words to restate the thesis, the opinion, and the outline, and that will summarize whatever you're trying to say. Let's take a look at some important vocabulary in writing task 2 for introducing your para. This can be used in the introduction paragraph. for paraphrasing or giving the outline. This essay will analyze it is an undeniable fact, or it is undeniable that the dash is one of the most pressing issues in so and so. It is an established fact that the dash, and so on. It is commonly believed that in many countries that, so you can just fill in the blanks here. How you express your opinion, you can use this vocabulary or phrases. I believe that, I think that, I feel that, personally I feel, as far as I'm concerned, in my views, from my point of view. In fact, these can be used in speaking task 3 also, where you are doing the discussion questions with the examiner. Some linking devices to help you. For addition, you can use in addition, and, similarly, likewise, as well as, besides, furthermore, also, moreover, and, then, to, not only but also, even, besides, this, that, and so on. For sequencing, you can use first or firstly, initially, second or secondly, or to begin with, then, next, earlier, later, after this or that, following this or that, afterwards, following which, consequence, to give the result, as a result, thus, so, therefore, consequently, it follows that, thereby, eventually, then, in that case, admittedly, etc. For showing certainty, when you're certain about something, obviously, certainly, plainly, of course, undoubtedly, etc. When you're talking about a condition, if, unless, whether, provided that, for, so that, depending on, only if, providing that. Definition, it refers to, means, that is, consists of, etc. Summarizing the things. So in conclusion, in summary, or to summarize, to recapitulate, lastly, finally, to sum up, to conclude, to recapitulate, in short, or in a nutshell. Examples. So to quote examples is, for instance, one example, for example, just as, in particular, such as, namely, to illustrate, or to cite an example, to quote an example, etc. Then giving reasons, since, as, so, because of, due to, owing to, the reason why, in other words, leads to, and then you talk about the cause. Then time. Time is before, since, as, until, meanwhile, at the moment, when, whenever, as soon as, just as, etc. Please make a note of it, and I hope this helps you in getting to know the basic overview of writing task 2. Thanks for watching the video. Stay tuned for more content on IELTS. If you like this video, press like and do share it with your friends who are preparing for IELTS. Bye-bye.